Welcome to Words to My Face. We're giving you a definitive guide on how to win your fantasy football league this year. Now, there are lots of different types of fantasy football leagues out there. We're talking about the most common. One where it's a 10-team league. You start one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one tight end, one defense, one flex player, and, because we have to, one kicker.
Number 7.
Never draft a defense or a kicker before the 10th round. Think about it. There are 32 teams in the NFL. There's only 10 teams in your league. What does that mean? You're guaranteed to get at least a top 10 defense. There's not that big of a difference between the number 1 and the number 10 defense every year. Now, some people out there might say, oh, the Seahawks defense was awesome last year. Got me like 200 points. Still not worth drafting before the 10th round. And if you have players that get more than one defense, then lucky you, because they probably suck.
Number 6.
Never draft a handcuff. A handcuff is where you draft the starter from a team, and then you draft their backup. Or want to bank on your starter getting hurt. Think about it. No need to do that. There's plenty of other players out there that you can be guaranteed will start and get the majority of the carries every week. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 10 teams in your league. So even if everybody in your league drafts a number 1, everybody can get at least 3. Handcuffs are better left for free agency towards the middle of the season.
Number 5.
Check your bye weeks, people. It's really easy to let this catch you up and really hurt you towards the middle of the season. Think about it. You draft 5 players with a week 7 bye. What happens in week 7? You're screwed. So, check it out. It's not hard to do that research. Most leagues, while you're drafting, they tell you when the player's bye is. If you've already drafted 2 players with a week 7 bye, maybe you deprioritize some of the other players that you wanted that also have a week 7 bye, and up the priority on some of them that have a different bye week.
Oh.
Try to stay away from players on your favorite team. A, your emotions get caught up too much in it, and you usually overvalue the player. B, if you do have a week where both your team loses, the player plays bad, and then your fantasy team loses, man, that is a bad week. So try to stay away from it. Now, if you are a fan of the Chiefs, go ahead and draft Jamal Charles. You're a fan of the Eagles, go ahead and grab up LaShawn McCoy. But other than that, try to keep your emotions out of drafting.
Number 3.
Don't bank on sleepers, people. Sleepers are great picks, gems that you pick up in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. But if you start them right away, you never know what's going to happen. They're sleepers for a reason. They're untested. Here's the problem. You start them week 1, 2, 3, and it turns out there's a reason nobody ever heard of them. Because they're no good. Wait a couple weeks, see if they're going to be consistently productive for you, and then you can start inserting them into your starting lineup.
Number 2.
Only draft number 1s. Now, you heard me talk about this a little bit earlier, but this is very, very important. Don't draft the number 2 wide receiver on a team. Don't draft the number 2 running back on a team. Even if those teams are shown to use those players a lot, always go with the number 1. Think about it. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 10 teams in your league. So that means every team for each position can have at least 3 number 1s. There's a reason these players are considered number 1s, and that is because they're the most consistently productive. Bank on them before you bank on any number 2s. Now, in the middle of the season, if you see the number 1 isn't performing as well as the number 2, then maybe you can make a change. But always go with the number 1s during the draft.
Number 1.
Prioritize your positions, people. Don't get me wrong. Quarterbacks generally score the most points over the season, but there's a lot less of a difference between the number 1 quarterback and the number 10 quarterback than there is between the number 1 receiver or running back and the number 20 wide receiver or running back. Think about it. You start 2, possibly 3 running backs and wide receivers a week, depending on which one you want to throw into your flex position. You only ever start 1 quarterback. And most people will draft their starting quarterback by the 4th round, meaning you have a couple rounds in there where you could stock up on some wide receiver and running back picks before you have to get your quarterback and still get a top 10 quarterback. So this has been the Words to My Face Definitive Fantasy Football Guide. Let us know if there's anything you think I missed out on. Hit me up in comments down below. Of course, at Words to My Face on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, wordstomyface@gmail.com. All good ways to get a hold of us. Like and subscribe the video, and we'll see you on the football field. one, never draft a T-fence. Never draft a T-fence. You have an offense, a defense, and a T-fence. Never draft them. For tea time. T-fence or tea time. Block them from putting their sugar cubes in their cups.
Get them really ornery.
We got some ornery Brits out there, so careful.